What did your mother-in-law do that made you change all the locks? I have been married to my husband for 3 years, and we're currently expecting our first child. On paper, it sounds like the perfect little life. We're both excited, scared, and counting down the weeks until we get to meet our baby. But behind the smiles and ultrasound pictures, there's a tension that has been eating at me. One that has nothing to do with the pregnancy itself. It's about my mother-in-law. She lives about 20 minutes away, which at first sounded convenient. Close enough that she could help if we needed her, but not so close that she'd be underfoot all the time. Or at least, that's what I thought. From the very beginning, she's had this habit of just dropping by. No calls, no texts, no warning. Just showing up at the door and letting herself in as if she lived here too. At first, it was annoying but manageable. She'd pop in, bring some groceries, fuss about how we were keeping the place, maybe stay for coffee. I told myself she was just excited, just being a mom, maybe even lonely. My husband would shrug whenever I complained and say, "That's just how she is." He meant it like it was harmless, but it never sat right with me. But things got worse after I got pregnant. This pregnancy has been hard on me, harder than I expected. The nausea, the exhaustion, the nights spent tossing and turning because no position feels right. I've had days where just making it from the bed to the couch felt like climbing a mountain. Rest became precious. Sleep was sacred. I needed space, quiet, and privacy. And that was exactly what she couldn't seem to give me. Last month, it crossed a line. I was napping in the middle of the day, desperate for a few hours of relief. I woke up to the sound of the bedroom door opening, and there she was, standing by my bed. She had let herself in with the spare key we'd given her for emergencies. Her excuse? She was checking on me. I remember blinking up at her, groggy and disoriented, my heart racing from the shock. She just stood there, watching me sleep. I told my husband later how uncomfortable it made me, how creepy it felt, like I had no safe space in my own house. He brushed it off. "She's just being motherly," he said. "She worries about you." I wanted to scream. Worrying about me is one thing. Standing over me while I'm unconscious in my underwear is another. And then it happened again. Not once. Twice. The second time was even worse. I had dozed off in the middle of the afternoon wearing only a t-shirt and underwear. I woke to find her sitting at the edge of my bed, chatting like it was the most natural thing in the world. I remember pulling the blanket over myself, cheeks burning with humiliation. I told her firmly I needed privacy, that I needed her to stop coming into my bedroom uninvited. She smiled, nodded, and ignored me completely. That night, I went to the hardware store and bought a new doorknob for our bedroom, one with a lock. My hands actually shook as I installed it, but once it clicked into place, I felt like I could finally breathe again. For the first time in months, I felt like I had at least one corner of the house that was mine, where I could rest without fearing the sound of the door opening. But of course, the next time she came by, she discovered it. She tried the handle, found it locked, knocked repeatedly, and then called my husband at work in a panic. She told him she was worried something had happened because I didn't answer. Later that night, she called me controlling and rude. She said I was already shutting her out of her grandchild's life. My husband asked me to just take the lock off to keep the peace. He looked at me like this was some silly overreaction. I told him no. I told him his mother didn't respect boundaries and that the lock stays. He sighed and said nothing, but I could feel the weight of his silence. Now, his whole family is chiming in. They say I'm dramatic, that my pregnancy hormones are making me paranoid. And maybe I doubt myself if it wasn't so clear. She doesn't see me as a person with boundaries. She sees me as an extension